it's less than a week after that. I want to say it's like, it might be like the Tuesday or Wednesday after that, or the Thursday after that. It's unusually soon. I know that.
Like the first week of June type of thing.
I think it's before that. Yeah, it might be. Right. It might be the first week of June, or it might be the 1st of June, possibly. I don't know. I'll have to take a look at that later. Email me that question. You can ask me there. Okay. So everybody should be back. Again, do not do the formula. You do not need to use the formula at all. Period. No more formula. Just use stat test Lin-Reg t-test, and you should have gotten R is negative 0.944, which means it has a strong negative relationship. Right, it's going down just like this line right here is going down. Right, strong negative relationship, perfect line, or close to a perfect line. Questions about this one? Okay, so now we're going to talk about the steps of hypothesis testing. So first off, let's look at the very first step, which is kind of the hardest one, I think, because it's the one that is a little bit most people get confused about. So remember, the null hypothesis is always no something. In this case, like null means nothing, no, none, no line. That's what this means. So the H naught is no line, no correlation. Again, no difference, so it's going to be equals. So null hypothesis is always equals. Rho equals 0. So in this case, no difference, no correlation, no line, not a line. So make sure you get that locked into your head, because people get this confused all the time, and they think that, I don't know, I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to say it, but so when H naught says it's not a line. H1 says that it is a line. Right? So H1 is a line. So when rho is not equal to 0, when rho is closer to 1 or negative 1. So H1 is a line, right? Rho is close to 1 or negative 1. H naught is that rho is equal to 0. It's not a line. No correlation. All right, so kind of do whatever you need to do to kind of keep that straight, because that is one of the top things that people confuse and get mixed up about. If you reject H naught, it is a line. That's what that means. Rejecting H naught means it is a line. Not rejecting H naught means it is not a line. So if you fail to reject H naught, it is not a line. If you reject H naught, it is a line. That's what you want. Okay, so here are the 5 steps, which you guys are used to. Step 1, your hypotheses. Step 2, find the critical value from the PPMC table. It's a little bit different. We'll go over to that in a minute. And then step 3, find R using stat test Lin-Reg t-test. And then decide whether or not to reject H naught. And we're just going to, is the critical value, if R is larger, if the absolute value of R is larger than the critical value, if it's further away out here, then you're going to reject H naught. Then there is a linear correlation. Otherwise, you do not reject H naught, which means it does not have no linear correlation. So it's not a line. And then step 5, summarize the claim. So we're actually not really going to have claims. I'll show you what I'm talking about. We're going to keep it super simple. Again, these last 2 chapters, we're going to make it really straightforward, superficial. But let me show you what I mean when you for the PPMC. You're going to draw this line like this, and you're going to find your critical values and shade to the outside. So here's my PPMC table. You're going to, over here are your degrees of freedom, and I have 2 variables now. I have an x and a y. So now I have 2 variables. Degrees of freedom is n minus 2. So you'll find out what row you're going to use from your degrees of freedom, and then up here are your levels of significance, what your alpha should be, and that tells you what column to use. So say I had degrees of freedom 6, alpha is 0.05, then I'd have 0.707 as my critical value. So that's kind of how you find those. Let me show you a picture that will help you kind of explain what to do and how to draw the picture, which will make things a lot more sense, I think. So if you look at it this way, draw your line. Over here is a perfect line, positive, so this is 1. Over here is a perfect line with a negative slope, so this is -1. Find your critical value. Say it's 0.707. You're going to have 1 here, 0.707, and you're going to shade to the outside, just like you would normally. And then you're also going to, it's two-tailed, so you're always going to have a positive and a negative. So you're going to have a negative 707 over here, negative 0.707 here, and shade to the outside over there. And then you can put a notch in the middle if you want for where your 0 is. Okay, so again, line, and you're going to have your critical value here, shade to the outside, negative critical value here, shade to the outside. These are your rejection regions. If you're beyond here or beyond here, then you're going to reject H naught and you're guilty. Up here tells you the region. Reject H naught because you're guilty. This is the guilty region. This is the other guilty region over here. In between here, the stuff in between here, this is the not guilty region over here. So between here, you're not guilty. You do not reject H naught. So it's just like we did in Chapter 8, only instead of having a hill, you're going to have just a straight line, and you're going to shade along this straight line to the outside and shade along the straight line to the outside. It's always going to be two-tailed for Chapter 10. Only for Chapter 10, but it will always be two-tailed. Okay, questions about this one? Turn the chat on in case you have questions. Okay, nobody's there, that's all right. I'm hoping you guys are still here, not back from break. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through an example. So this is at the bottom of page 3, I think. Yep, it's bottom of page 3. This is the example. So first, I'm going to find my step 1. So step 1, state my hypotheses. H naught is rho is equal to 0. That's always going to be your null hypothesis for Chapter 10. And H1, your H1 is always going to be rho is not equal to 0. So this is always going to be your step 1 for Chapter 10, period. H naught is rho equals 0. H1 is rho is not equal to 0. Then we're going to do step 2 where you find your critical value. So you're going to find your PPMC table, and I have 6 items here. So my degrees of freedom is going to be 6 minus 2, or 4. So I'm going to look at this row, the row 4 here, and my alpha is 0.05. So 0.05, it's going to be 0.811. That is my critical value, 0.811. So positive, negative, 0.811. I'm going to draw my little picture. Oh, sorry, this is just me finding the thing again. I don't know why. It's kind of annoying. Sorry. That's annoying as well. There we go. Okay. Oh. Wait, this is... hold on. I think I did something wrong. Maybe it's just below. That would be good. Okay. So then I'm going to draw in my line here. And I'm going to put in 0.811 and shade to the outside. I'm going to draw in negative 0.81 and shade to the outside. So this is my kind of my picture I'm drawing. So you need to draw this just like Chapter 8, shade to the outside. This is my critical region, my rejection region. This is also my other rejection region. I have 2 because, again, Chapter 10, not equal to, it's going to be two-tailed. And then here's my notch in the middle where 0 is. So then my R, you don't have to find R. We've given you R for this one. We're just having you practice the test, not the R part. You already did that earlier. You know how to do that. So here's my R, 0.982, just like we found earlier. And that goes in right here on the right between 0.811 and 1. It goes right in here. So that's where my R is. So clearly you can see it's totally in the rejection region. So step 4, I'm going to reject H naught. So that's my step 4, which means at step 5, I have enough evidence. And here's it. It's just very, very simple. No claim, no nothing. Just enough evidence of correlation between cars and income. That's all you got to do. So either you do not have enough evidence of correlation between cars and income, or you do have enough evidence of correlation between cars and income. That's all you got to do for the rest of it, is to put of correlation between blank and blank. That's totally fine. Okay, so this is just how you do the tests. And the only thing that's a little bit different is we're using the PPMC table, right, instead, and you're going to draw a line instead of drawing a hill. And then how you find R is slightly different, and H naught slightly different. But otherwise, it's pretty much, it's very similar. So you guys, go ahead and write this down. This is from your notes, bottom of the third page. And then flip over and do problem number 4 on the next page. And don't find the R. We already found the R for you. The R is already found. It's 0.307. So don't find it again. Just use it. So all you got to do is steps 1, 2, write down what R is for step 3, and do steps 4 and 5. Everybody on board? So it should save you some time. It should only take you about 5 minutes to do this one. So I'm going to go ahead and open up your breakout rooms. And we will give you guys 5 minutes, and then I'll bring you back in for this one.